You're looking at the trunk of a American black walnut. And I'm going to show you this tree. It's magnificent. And let me introduce myself. I'll get in front of the camera here. Hello, Paul here from Nashville, Tennessee in the United States. It's August 11th, 2014. And I'm going to talk to you today about the glorious American black walnut. And basically, I was introduced to this tree as a child by my father, who was introduced to it by a man named Paul Fryer, who lived in Dover, Massachusetts. And then when I got to Tennessee, it grows like a weed here. I mean, literally like a weed. If this tree were cut down and laid in the field, it would the trunk would sprout and grow. You can grow it from seed here. It's really easy. All you do is take the walnuts in the fall and plant them up about a few inches deep, and you'll have walnut trees that are 15 feet tall in 2-3 years. I tried that. It worked very well. But I got into permaculture a couple of years ago and really started to ask the question about getting local food that you grow yourself. And I had a friend of mine, Peter Belizos, who runs a machine shop, help me engineer a gadget that would crack these, and we ended up buying a device that was already patented, and I'll show you that. And then I had a neighbor who is 96 years old, I want to say. His name is Ben Franklin. He lives on Holt Road here, and he really turned me on to this. He has a lot of chestnut trees in his yard, and he has a lot of walnut trees. And he explained this to me very, very slowly and very carefully. And I really started to get the hang of this. Now, the tree that we're in front of now is loaded with fruit. And the fruit will start to drop. Last year's fruit's on the ground. I'll pick one up here. I might have to walk over here a bit. Oh, here we go. So the squirrels will get these, but they don't get them all. And so the fruit comes in this is the inner fruit. It comes in a big green husk. And what I do is I walk around with a big boot and I step on the husk. And then this little kernel comes out. And then I have a little device that used to pick up trash, and I carry a pail with me, and I put them in the pail. Already husked. And the reason you have to use the gadget to pick them up is that they'll turn your hands totally brown, and it'll never come off your hands until you exfoliate the colorant. It's an amazing tree. I could tell you so much about the walnut tree. It has a chemical in it called juglone, which is an insecticide and an herbicide, and it kills most plants that live around it, except for certain plants like, say, the raspberry or anything in the rubus family. The raspberry, the blackberry, those kinds of things can be planted well underneath. But only special plants will grow underneath it. And for that reason, a lot of people don't like it in their yard. It also drops these big walnuts on the roof and on the cars, and people don't like that. So now this tree, I'm going to get behind the camera. This tree was here when I got to this property 14 years ago. We have several of them back here. And these were covered in vines and weeds. And they had other trees growing in them. And we've got about 6 or 7 of them down here by the creek. And they just do really well. Now this tree got hit by a tornado about, probably about 16 years ago, the year before we moved in. And but it just twisted the top off, and it'll keep on going. And there's a lot of fruit on this, but the camera doesn't have good enough resolution, I don't think, to see the fruit. But as I look up, let me find a spot. I saw some over here. It doesn't have a lot of fruit on it this year. It has enough fruit, and I'll explain that to you. I'll find a clump of, I saw them over here earlier today. I'll find a clump of fruit. Yeah, it might not come out, but they're right in that dark spot there. There's 2 of them together. There'll be a lot of fruit coming off of this. They fall every year, and if these trees don't produce for me, just about everyone in Nashville has a walnut tree, and they have to rake up the walnuts, and they can't stand them. Now let me explain about the walnut. It's very, very hard to crack. And the shell here is so hard that it is ground up and used as an industrial abrasive. And there's only, to my knowledge, one plant in the United States that processes black walnuts. They're very good on desserts, they say, and there's a big market for it there. But what I've learned, the best way to do it is with nuts. Nuts are very, very, very high in fat, like much higher than any kind of meat or anything like that. And so you really only want to have maybe between 2 to 4 of these as a serving. So the way this machine works, I can't give you a full demo, but there's a jaw, there's a gear here. Let me give you the info on it. It says C.E. Potter, Sapula, Oklahoma. There's a guy in Oklahoma that invented this, and I think his grandson or his great-grandson runs the production facility to make these. And I didn't get the feeling that they're going to be doing it a whole lot longer. But there's a patent number. I'll try to read it. It's pretty clear, not clear. 2377269. But if you put in C.E. Potter, Sapula, Oklahoma, you will get a lot of these, and you can see what it looks like. And I think they last forever. But the way it works is you put the nut in here. I'm not going to be able to do it with that one hand holding the camera, but I'll try. Hang on. So the nut goes in the jaw here, like that, and then you crank this forward, and then you take this and you pull it down over the top in this kind of motion, and that'll crush it, and then you put this down to protect yourself from the debris that flies out. And so what you want to do with walnuts is you want to have them, you got to take them inside and dry them out, or a lot of people get the shells off, the husks off by putting them on the driveway. I don't like that very much because you get a lot of rocks in them, and sand and grit and gravel. But just put them in a dry place over the winter. My friend Ben Hutchinson down the street, he puts them in his basement, and you'll have them all year round. And they'll be raw, they'll be organic, they'll be full of minerals, full of fat. Good, really good fat. You got to go easy on the fat, but you can't overdo it on this. Like it's so easy to do with nuts. You know, if I buy nuts at Whole Foods, I might get raw organic nuts, which are the best for your health. But I'll sit there and eat a lot of them, and it's not been good. I've had bad health repercussions from doing that. But these are so hard to crack. You really couldn't do more than 2 to 4 without really losing patience. So that's sort of a built-in control, and they're everywhere in Nashville, and so you can really have a great serving and get incredible nutrients from this particular food. So I'll end it there, and thank you for watching, and thank you for also being excited about the American black walnut, and I hope it's as good to you as it has been to me. Thanks for watching. Paul here, over and out. Parting shot here of the walnut.